Welcome back. California's Governor Gavin Newsom has issued a new executive order directing all state agencies to remove homeless encampments from public properties. The governor says the move is in the interest of public health, but advocates say it could cause even more damage to an already vulnerable population. For more, let's bring in Donald Whitehead. He is the executive director of the National Coalition for the Homeless. Donald, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for joining us. I know, homelessness in California, it's been an issue lawmakers have been grappling with for a long time. What are your main concerns with Governor Newsom's executive order, and what happens to people who live in these encampments once they're removed?
Sure. So first of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for addressing this issue. There are many things that I think have negative impacts for people experiencing homelessness because of this order. First and foremost is that it does nothing to solve homelessness, safety issues, or anything else related to the people in those encampments. When you move people frequently from encampment to encampment, it does not solve their homelessness. It makes their homelessness worse, and it makes the path out of homelessness harder. And I think it's driven by the belief that people somehow want to be in this condition. People are forced into homelessness by structural issues, and this order does not address any of those structural issues.
Governor Newsom said he issued the order because the makeshift camps, they can lack electricity and running water, and they pose an urgent public health and safety hazard. How do you respond to some of those concerns?
Well, we don't want people in shelters either. I'm sorry, we don't want people in encampments either. Encampments are not in any way a way for people to live in the richest country in the world. People are sleeping on the ground. They're sleeping in tents. They're not safe. There's no locks on their doors. So we are not in any way promoting encampments. What we're saying is that the solution to reducing the number of people living on the streets and encampments is to do it in a compassionate, humane way that involves permanent housing or temporary shelter, but moving people into a facility, whether it be a permanent housing unit or a shelter, prior to sweeping them away. Because when you sweep them away and you don't have a destination, they're still outside. They're still homeless. You haven't addressed the safety issues you've talked about, and it's much more expensive to criminalize people, arrest them, fine them, and put them in jail than it is to actually provide housing and supportive services, which is how we solve homelessness. And that approach is effective 90% of the time.
Let's talk about the root of the issue here, which is, of course, incredibly complicated. It is a number of issues, but the California Senate says 28% of the nation's homeless population lives in the Golden State. I used to live in California. I saw it within blocks of where I lived. Why is it so many people in California are experiencing homelessness?
I would encourage people to read Greg Colburn's book. It's called Homelessness is a Housing Crisis. The number one reason, it is very complex, as you said, but the number one reason people are homeless is the lack of affordable housing. In California in particular, there are dramatically increasing housing cost and limited availability of affordable housing. Only a quarter of the people eligible for subsidized housing, where they could get some support if they can't actually pay for the housing themselves. Only 1/4 of the people that are eligible actually receive the housing because of lack of units. We saw a 12% increase in housing in homelessness. Yeah. We also saw an 18% year-over-year increase in housing costs. It's a housing issue. We have to dramatically increase housing production in this country, or we'll continue to see the numbers rise. Interesting fact about Los Angeles, the homeless system will house over 700 people a year, but then the next day 700 more will show up. We don't have adequate wages. We don't have enough affordable housing. Structural racism is an issue in California. All of these things make for a very complex issue, as you said, and myopic solutions or quick fix solutions like criminalization do nothing but make the issue worse.
Donald Whitehead, an important conversation. We appreciate you taking the time to talk with us this morning.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And please continue to talk about this issue. It is really important. These are human beings we're talking about.
We'll continue to shine a light on it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.